NERDSoul.
Late ill kid at OneYoungsta. You know the deal. It's NERDSoul. We chilling. We out here talking about that Spider-Verse. That's right. And if you ain't seen it yet, too bad because we about to spoil you up. And when I say we, I ain't by myself. That's right. You best believe it. I'm here with the one and only Jason Reeves of 133Art. Say what's up.
Hey, what's happening, yo?
Man, we out here just living. You know what I'm saying? Living in a new era. You know what I'm saying? The era of the fresh animation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Fresh and so clean. So before we get into the questions that I have for you, my young brother, you saw the movie. You had
I
a
did.
chance to enjoy and digest the visuals.
I digested. Yes, I did.
When you came out of the theater, how were you feeling? How were you feeling about Across the Spider-Verse?
Oh man, so we kind of have a ritual when like a big movie comes out. We don't currently live in the same state anymore, but Rashad and I, big ups to Rashad Doucette. His book was just announced today, by the way. Wish I Was a Baller from Scholastic.
That's
Holla
right.
at your boy. Shout out to Rashad. That's my homie from New Orleans.
He doing big
Um,
things.
Yeah, right, doing it. But when we come out of the theater, especially if we, see the thing on the same day, opening day or whatever, we call each other, Usually he see it first because he's in that earlier time zone. But after he sees it, he wait a couple hours, I get out, you know what I'm saying, depending on what time we doing it, we call each other immediately, and I'm like, yo. So I called him this time and I was like, hey. And people were walking in as I was walking out, and I was like super loud. Now that was a Spider-Man movie, and people were looking at me like, what is wrong with this dude? And so I was very excited to get my Spider-Man on. Back in the day, not necessarily currently, but back in the day, Spider-Man was my joint. That was like one of my favorite comics, one of my favorite things. And it felt good to be put back in that space, you know what I'm saying? Feel like a little kid coming out of the movie and really having enjoyed a Spider-Man story, because that hasn't happened in a while, I guess. I guess the last time I really enjoyed a Spider-Man was the last Miles movie, so without any caveats, you know what I'm saying? Like
I feel you.
without any reservations. So they upped the ante. I actually think I enjoyed it more than the first one.
Okay, good. So now I know where we're at. You know what I'm saying? We're both on the same page, on the same wavelength, if you will. You know what I'm saying? It seems that you're feeling the styles that they putting down. I wanna kick this to you because we talk about the MCU a lot. Let's go in and keep it real. Is it safe to say that Spider-Verse is better than anything that the MCU is doing regarding the multiverse at the moment?
I hate
in their multiverse.
I hate to say it, but I kind of feel like Sony has taken the crown right now, right? Like we are what, 4 or 5 years past Endgame?
Yeah.
And nothing they've done subsequently, like nothing they've done up until this point can really touch this movie. Like Sony has the crown right now, if you're asking me about mainstream superhero movies. Like that was a super enjoyable movie, like almost flawless in execution. Like, and then I will say it is sort of up the bar, which superhero movies, especially coming from, that camp, doesn't always do that. So like lately, in the past half a decade or whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I mean, I say what I said. I think Sony has the crown right now, which is scary because the rest of their stuff ain't hitting on nothing.
I'm gonna keep it real. The trip is Sony Animation used to be Widak. All right.
Right.
Sony animation
Right.
used to be whack. And I
Right.
remember when they said they were doing an animated film, I was like, man, Sony animation is not good. And this is going to be whack. And they're going to make Miles look whack. And he's never going to get another movie because they're going to give him some trash stuff and he's going to look horrible. And when I
Mm-hmm.
saw that first trailer, I was like, hold up, spin the block, come back. I was like, come back, hold
Right.
up. Y'all learned y'all lesson. Y'all said,
Right.
hey, we've been making bad stuff. We want to push things forward, set the bar high, and they have on an animation style. They have set the bar for so many following projects. Now, normally I've given Into the Spider Verse tons of credit for all the stuff that came after it, and yes, pretty much the success of Into the Spider Verse, I believe, is what gave other studios the at least the freedom to
Mm-hmm.
try other styles and that didn't align with just following Pixar. But I will give everyone this. I will give the people this. Um what is it? The Peanuts movie in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
That was groundbreaking in my opinion for a 2D, 3D kind of, I guess,
Mashup.
very reminiscent of the actual pages, the actual, animated, shorts and stuff that we see back then, but updated. The Peanuts
Mm-hmm.
movie, I'm mad that we didn't get another one, but the Peanuts movie is incredible. So I will
Mm.
give that. I still watch that with the little guy to this day. The Peanuts movie is incredible the way it's done. And I will also give another shout out to a movie that came out it was in 2017, Captain Underpants. Captain
Mm.
Underpants has a very unique animation style and kind of like character. I guess you could say character design when it comes to the show as a whole, from the foreground to the background characters. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give them that. But outside of that, yeah, it was rough out there in the streets. Everybody wanted to be Pixar, and Pixar is awesome. But
Right.
when everyone wants to be Pixar, there's this sameness that comes in, you know.
Right.
So I'm glad that Into the Spider Verse kind of kicked that door down for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
I could dig
Kick
that.
that door down and change the game. You know what I'm saying? For everybody.
What I really like about it is it wears comics on its sleeve in a way that a lot of stuff doesn't.
True. True.
Like um from the first frame, this is derived from comic books. This is that style. And a lot of times when people, because of like Lichtenstein and Warhol and people like that, a lot of times when you see actual comic style in like art or film or TV, what have you, people like to call it pop art. Oh, it's very pop art and
Yeah.
whatnot. And and it's easily kind of misconstrued, or the comic stuff is really kind of downplayed. But what
Yeah,
I
or even
love about
dismissed.
exactly. So what I love about Spider-Verse is it can't be denied that this is a comic book thing. And the beauty of it is it shows what you and I and other comic fans know, is that our medium is so full and vibrant and can tell stories on par with any other kind of storytelling, whatever dramatic, musicals, what have you, we're on par. We're not less than. And movies like this, really showcase that. And that
True
takes
that.
it up another notch in my mind. Just how masterful this movie really is, man. Like, it's really good. Like, in my mind, and I'm hoping in other people's minds, in the masses' minds, that this lets people know that animation is for everything. It's not like it's
Yep.
not a downgrade from live action.
Thank
Like,
you.
they're talking about There's a Miles live action movie in development. We don't even need that. What we need that for?
We don't need that. We good.
Yeah.
We,
This
I'll
is this
throw
is
it to
better than that. Can this is? I would say I'm about 99% sure that this is better than that could ever be. Right?
Yeah, I just have a feeling like we're good where we're at, and I wanna give a shout out to LeSean Thomas. I know I'm gonna just give him this quote. He said to remember that animation is a medium, not a genre.
Right.
So you can tell any story you want. It's just because it's animated doesn't mean that it has to be, that it has to be for kids, or that it has to be, only selling toys, or it has, or it can do those things and more. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
So that's one thing that I love about this. Like you said, it does really represent comics well, and it is the first movie. It's like we're stepping inside of a comic book, in the world, in the universe of a comic book, and it's awesome. Now, I did want to stop and pause for the cause, because since we talk about comics, you have a comic book right now on Kickstarter by the name of Changa and the Jade Obelisk. You know what I'm saying? And
issue 1 through 3, right.
And you've already been so successful with this run of comic books, with this story, with this character, that y'all have already exceeded your goal. People, they hitting the stretch, if you will. They are reaching for higher heights. Now, I ain't gonna try to sell y'all. You don't need to be sold. You've seen Changa on my channel before. You've seen the books. You've seen the art. You know what I'm saying? Hit that link below right now. Go check out Changa. You know what I'm saying? Then issue 3, issue 1. They was chilling. They found a little obelisk. Issue number 2. You find out you can't trust a big butt with a smile. now issue number 3. You don't never know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you, the art is incredible.
Issue number 3 is a straight up chase issue. If you can imagine a chase on the East African coast, like one fleet of ships versus another fleet of ships, trying, in a race to get to the kingdom of Mombasa. That's what's happening in issue 3.
So, man, I'm telling you, the art from this joint is looking crazy. Even the tender moments, you know what I'm saying? The art is on point. Definitely shout out to Milton Davis. Shout out to you yourself. It's Jason Reeves. Mateo. Shout out to Robert Jeffrey.
Loris.
Loris. Yeah.
Everybody. Shout out to Massimiliano. All our folks that have jumped on and have added their amazing talents to it and really enriched the whole project. We getting close, man. We're heading to the finale at this point. We are more than halfway through the Changa series, so keep jump on there, man. Get you some books, get you some merch. We got some new hoodies. We got a new windbreaker for the ladies. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We got a couple things going on there. So go get you some stuff. We always fulfill. We always come through.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry about this Kickstarter. You know what I'm saying? This is the Kickstarter that always, you know what I'm saying? I've gotten every single item that I ever got. that I ever, backed from 133Art. You don't have to worry about no scamming activity from these folks.
We fulfill everything. As we're speaking right now, I just passed Kickstarter, the 133Art season pass. I literally today just wrapped the printing on One Nation number 3, and last week I wrapped the printing on One Nation Stronghold number 2. So those will be going out presently. we up and running, man. So we fulfill everything. You're gonna get what you ordered all day long, all day, every day. So yeah.
See, that's what's up. And just in case y'all need a quick aside, Changa is perfect for fans of action, fantasy film, and TV like Black Panther, House of the Dragon, and Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? So don't sleep. You got that sword and soul, and you're gonna get that full, thick Philly beard. You know what I'm saying? And a little bit of action to go with it. So don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? Changa is definitely what's up.
Yes, Lord.
So I want to ask you, when it comes to all the characters that are in this beautiful movie, Spider-Verse,
Mm-hmm.
who's one that gets on your nerves? Who's a character that you can't stand in a good way?
It's about to be an unpopular opinion, but you know how I act, so I gotta say, I know everybody feeling Hobie Brown right now. My man talks a good game, but I mean, he was in there with the rest of them, so I mean, I guess Miles inspired him or whatever. I have a little tiff with people who are like, I'm an anarchist, you know, I'm not about the system, but then they be in the system. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're to assume Miguel is the system, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, he's definitely the system. He got the whole. I mean, bruh, they got a cafeteria with burgers with his logo on it. Like,
right. I'm like, so you know, this was Miles' first date, and when Miles heard the rundown, he was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how long Hobie been there if he's such an anarchist? But you know, people need the heroes, so go off. But he was kind of getting on my nerves, and then you know, I love Gwen, but Gwen was kind of like, dang, actually not so much Gwen. I was really surprised at Peter B, man, because that's my man, but like, yo, you're really simping out here for this Spider Citadel people, man. Like, what? I'm supposed to be your homie. You acting like you don't know me.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, I guess we needed this to happen because Miles needed to be on his own, and maybe because in a way, I guess they used Miles to show at least the people that sided with Gwen at the moment, at least right now, that, you know, maybe they've lost their way. So, you know, that's one thing I do like, is that Miles is the kind of like, he's the moral, you know, the moral North Star or whatever, you know what I'm saying, in this particular situation, at least.
Right.
But
right.
I'm guessing, you know, to give Hobie some credit, maybe Hobie was like, all right, let me see what's going on. All right, cool. Let me get inside so I can get some of these materials so I can make me my own wristbands, and then I can do my own thing.
I guess. I mean, he was in there flossing and slick side trying to shine on Miles, like, I got your girl, baby. Like, I was like, wait. You know, Miles over there weakening the shield with his electrical powers and whatever, and then here come this dude bursting through the shield like he did something. I was like, I ain't feeling him.
Miles was like, I weakened it though.
He did though. I was like, I'm not feeling it, my guy. Like, you can say all this anarchist stuff if you want, but I mean, who really did, you know, upset the system? I mean, you know, it was the Spider God, young Spider God, you know what I'm saying? So
maybe he was in a situation where it's like, all right, maybe I'm in too deep and I need a proxy to do this. Maybe I don't know what his mind was on.
Is that really anarchy though, or what
true that. You know what I'm saying?
Or is that just regular manipulation? All I'm saying is, you made the watch and then you gave it to Gwen instead of the dude that was doing the actual, you know, upsetting of the system. I mean, something on track, baby. But, you know, again, if y'all love him, and that's cool. He looks nice. He looks cool. I just like people. I like. So I gravitate more to the dude that changes the thing rather than the dude that says he's about changing the thing. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I get you. All right, so I wanna slide real quick since we talking about changing the thing, um, Miles in this movie is a year and a half in,
Hmm.
and he's I guess you could say settling into his role.
Hmm.
Um, do you think that Miles' growth kind of matches? Do you think it kind of tracks with his family life at home? Does it seem out of place for you, or does it seem like this is a good place to be in from where we left off before?
It tracks. Like I think it makes total sense. The little growing pains that they're having,
Hmm.
and the idea that people are catching on that something's going on with Miles, especially his parents and even his counselors at school are like, this dude is not telling the truth about something. Like, and it makes sense. I mean, you missing classes. What does a guy like Miles have to miss class for? And usually,
Yeah,
especially since he's black, all the negative connotations that will come with that, like, is he out partying too much? Is he slacking off? Is he, trying to hustle in the street?
yeah.
Whatever they can conjure in their minds about a young black youth, they will. So
And then we
at some
also do
point,
have that moment where she's like, what's your story?" And it's like,
right,
story? Like, what? Why not
right,
just like someone who's super duper smart that should be there?
right. Well, world don't work like that, man. You need a narrative. It needs a
Oh
narrative.
man, unfortunately.
You need a narrative to stand out. I mean, sadly, we live in capitalism, so you got to sell it, and that's really
Yeah.
the wider, badder issue.
Yep.
I mean, as Hobie Brown one said in the movie, it's a metaphor for capitalism. So we live in that. Some of us choose to say no, and I rock with those, and then some of us just make nice quips and play the guitar.
Oh snap! All right, so I ain't even gonna mess with it. All right, so how do you feel Gwen plays in, or how do you feel they like characterize Gwen when it comes to kind of like those softer moments when they were together? Because we see, at least from my perspective, we see she kept her hair, she kept the hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's reminiscent of Miles. The second she
Right.
shows up, it's an immediate hug, like immediate. Like he didn't have to ask for a hug or nothing. Like dude barely even got a word out of his mouth. Then like the whole kind of like being together when they were upside down, and she was like, she said, it never, Gwen falls for Peter, it never works out. But then she looks at him to see his response.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, like, all right, let's see.
No, I think that I think of all the spider people who could hook up, and of all the spider supporting cast that could hook up with a Spider-Man or supporting cast hooking up with each other, these two maybe have the most in common. Like they're both of their dads are cops. You know what I'm saying? Both of them are dealing with loss.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are dealing with wanting to tell the truth to loved ones, but it's probably safer if they don't. And both they're around the same age. I think Gwen is a little older, right?
I think in the first movie, Gwen says she's older by like 4 or 5 months, something like that. But then she makes the joke that it's significant or something like that.
Yeah. Well, in this one, Rio was like, "What is she? Old enough to drive? She's way older."
Yeah, she said she was old enough to vote.
Right. But I think of all the spider people that could hook up, I think they make a pretty good match. I mean, they work well together. They complement each other on the battlefield. Like, I feel like it's a no-brainer. I think the only thing kind of holding them back maybe is like immaturity, as far as like they're young people, so young people have their own obstacles toward getting together, but they live in different dimensions, but other than that, like, I feel like, go ahead on and get this thing popping. Like, once y'all have y'all watches or whatever, do your thing.
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, Uncle NERDSoul over here, I'm gonna look at both of y'all and be like, why y'all playing with each other? Why y'all playing? Y'all ain't friends. All right.
I'm sorry. I'm saying
There ain't nothing wrong with high school sweethearts. Y'all going and start that journey together. Ain't no
right.
need to be need to be wasting time. Y'all can
They got a
enjoy a beautiful life. Y'all going to go down that path.
they got a nice dynamic, and I think I think it's a no they work well together. Like I feel like they would make a good team.
Yeah, especially that whole when he's like she was like, follow me through the city or whatever, thread the needle. And she's like, look at you. He's like, look at me. He was like, so I mean, Miles is, he's feeling himself a little bit. He's been holding it down for about a year and a half. So he's feeling a little more how should you say, settled in his role. Um
I love the confidence, but I mean
yeah,
that's so pet peeve about them writing black guys, you know what I'm saying, young black dudes, is that they always write us if we're within a group, it's not necessarily a group of other black kids. It's like usually like if it's not a more rainbow coalition of friends, it'll be like he'll be the one black dude in another
yeah,
group of friends, and I'm not for or against whatever. If it's more of a rainbow coalition dynamic, then I'm cool. If it's just one black dude with all white dudes, that don't necessarily ring as true to me because I didn't grow up like that. But also, I like though that one black dude doesn't get to have the nuances of being a young black dude. And one of the nuances of being a young black dude is confidence. Like as you get taller, stronger, your confidence kind of builds, especially if you have something like Miles has, right?
yeah.
So
He's super smart and he has superpowers.
right, you're super smart, you have superpowers. That's almost akin to like an all-star, on a football team or on a basketball team, right? You making good grades and you captain of the ball team, like
Can't tell you
you
nothing.
the man. Yeah, you the man. Like
I'm gonna be honest. There was a certain age when your boy could not be stopped. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm glad I also had a little bit of maturity come along. But yes, there was a time when your boy was like, I just scored 20 points tonight. We won. I'm chilling, and I got a little hoop ride.
And you feel like you the man. So
shouts to the '89 Buick Century. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, she right. So I love that little nuances. I'm feeling confident. Like when he's stopping bad guys like it ain't nothing on the way to the party. You know what I'm saying? Like that's. I love that coming into your adulthood, and I think that's really cool that we have this kind of team on a movie like this that is willing to explore that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a boon to the movie, man. I wish Hollywood would wake up and see that, like, this is the formula here, right?
Especially when you look at the opening weekend for the first movie and the opening weekend for this movie, bruh.
It's like doubled. That's good.
I think the first movie was 30 something million and this one was 120 something million.
Yeah.
And they would have had a couple more dollars because I wanted to go see it again, but I was busy that weekend. Because I wanted to go see the drive-in version of it.
Okay.
But I got busy. But yeah, I'm like, they would have had a little more money.
I'm interested to see how much it's actually gonna make. I mean, really, they needed to, like, I don't know, numbers are skewed these days because sometimes when some movies make that much, then they're like, oh, they didn't make a lot of money. And then when well-liked movies make that much, then they're like, hooray! And it's a weird kind of skew. So
it's like when there's a movie that Hollywood wants you to like, it can make $10 million and they act like it's a success.
And they'll be like, it's another triumph. And then if it's a movie that's not well liked, then it'll be like, oh man, they doing bad over there, man. Dang, they on crack. What's going on?
Like,
Like,
man, they didn't make $1 billion.
this,
It's like, yeah, but they made 800 million. Like,
when the Flash come out next week, we'll see what 120 whatever means opening weekend. We'll see what that means. Like,
yeah,
that, I'm almost 100% certain that that's gonna mean something totally different. You know. Like,
yeah, because I'll be honest. I'm not going to see the Flash. I've made the tough decision. I'm not going to see it, but I will be seeing Transformers. I will be seeing that. I'm gonna see. You know, they got RC up in there. They got my boy Bumblebee. We gonna see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
So, it's a lot for a few dollars, I guess.
Oh man. But all right, so
not a big Transformers movie fan anyway. Not a big Transformers movie fan.
I do like the Bumblebee movie. I will say that.
I mean, I saw
Mayfield is in that one too. But
I watched
with a young Obama. But
yeah, I watched the Cybertron parts on YouTube. That's pretty much
that joint was crazy. Cause I went to see that in 4DX. That joint was crazy. But I got a question for you as a writer, because I was thinking about this after the movie. Okay, so he was bit by the spider in Universe 42. He's from Universe 1610.
Right.
All right. So when we meet him in this movie again, he's not glitching in his universe at all.
Right.
Which is something that we've, normally experienced. But then when he goes to Universe 42, he is glitching. But my question is, if he went into the go home machine and the go home machine read his DNA as the spider's DNA, then when he goes to that universe, he shouldn't glitch. And technically he should glitch in his original universe. Or should he not glitch in either because he is now fused of both universes? Or am I asking way too many questions?
You're asking a whole bunch of questions. But okay, so if I had to explain it as the writer of it, which I'm not, I would say that the spider machine that sent him to 42 is more attuned to spider DNA rather than human DNA.
Okay.
And that's how the Citadels, I don't know what they call it. I keep calling it the Spider Citadel, but I don't know what it's called. That's how the Spider Citadel, that's how it susses out the trouble in each universe by using a Spider-Man as an anchor point. Okay. So now that his DNA is fused with 42, Spider-Man wise, and less of his actual dimensional human DNA, 16 whatever DNA, that's why it sent him to 42. That's how I would explain it away.
Okay. Because see, I'm completely cool with it doing that. I'm cool with it doing either A, sending him to 42, or completely like futzing and being like, I don't know what to do. Because since he's not bitten from the same universe spider, like I don't know what to do. But I know we can't stop the story like that. But in my mind, he should be good in both universes. Like he should be covered, like insurance. Like he should be covered in both of them.
No, because more of him is 16:6 or what is it? 16.
Yeah, you're right. 16:10. You're right, because
more of him
he was 14 before he was bitten. So he has 14 years of 1610 DNA, and then okay, all right. So
more of his DNA is 1610 than 42. But if the machine is only attuned to Spider-Man DNA and they're using it as an anchor point,
looking for the spider.
It's looking for the spider DNA, so it's sending him to 42. That makes sense.
Okay, all right. Because I was like sitting around like, hold on, shouldn't he be okay in both universes? Like he should be fine. He shouldn't be glitching.
Let me tell you what was fire in the movie that was some good writer bits. That was some fire foreshadowing. When he went to 42, and Rio comes in the room and he hides his spider outfit, he puts on a green jacket with a purple hoodie. And when I saw that, I was like, no, I know exactly where he is. No. And I know like when I saw that, I knew exactly what was about to happen, yo. I was like, oh no.
Well, the funny thing is, I saw the when he came in and he started explaining to his mom, I didn't get it because I'm like, okay, and even though I saw the Earth 42 thing, I guess there's so much on the screen that you're just trying to enjoy and take in and all that. You don't recognize like, oh, it says 42. That's the wrong place. Like, I didn't pay attention to that. I was just like, okay, cool. Earth 42, whatever. Let's just get out of here.
Right.
So when he starts talking to her, I'm like, she makes a comment about his hair. And I'm like, so? I'm like, what do you mean? And then he says something about like, maybe I should get dad to explain it or whatever. And she's like, Miles, I don't want to hear it. I'm trying to do this on my own or whatever. And I'm like, what is she talking about? But then I'm like, oh, snap. I get it. Now I get it. You have a widow talking, basically being like, don't bring him up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to, we're already going through all this. I don't want to kind of like think about how hard it is without him, even though we're already going through this. Plus, like, yo, what's up with your hair? You just had it braided 2 seconds ago.
I think she was just curbing him because he was, you know, like, so they both have gone through it. They've mourned, they've cried, they've been to whatever funeral, whatever already, I'm assuming. And this is her curbing him like, Miles, I ain't got time for you to be, you know, being a smart ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, I need you to fold these clothes or whatever. And but what I loved about that scene was when the colors changed, I knew exactly what was about to go down. And what was so fire was when Uncle Aaron comes through, and then first of all, let me just say, shouts out to the Prowler in general, to Uncle Aaron in general. I love Uncle Aaron. I love him since the first movie. I love
the heart of the city, yo.
Yeah, man. I love the way that character moves. I love the dynamic of that character. Like, because again, nuances of black people's situation in the hood. Not all black people, obviously. We're not a monolith. Not everybody that lives in the hood is a hustler, a drug dealer, a crook, or whatever. We have myriads of different kinds of black people. But if we taking it to the streets and Uncle Aaron do be robbing people, like, man, what a nice little tidbit. What a nice little nuance to turn on to the hustler, right? Like, not only is he a hustler, but he's like a super hustler in the sense that he's a burglar, an extreme, like an elevated burglar to the superhuman level, and also, you know, also a crook. I think, but also takes care of his family. Also loves his nephew. Also looks out for real. Also brings money. Like,
because she's stressing when he comes in. And he's like, "Look, don't even worry about that."
Like a hustler.
He's like everything's okay. He's like family.
Exactly, like a hustler who's taking care of his brother's family, whether his brother's dead or his brother went up, you know, upstate or whatever. He dropping off some cash. That's what he there to do. But also, you know, listen, I come from hustlers. My dad was a hustler. He trained my older brothers to be hustlers. Now, I ain't debating the good or the bad of that. I'm just saying it happens. And Uncle Aaron producing another Prowler it feels so genuine to me in that sense.
Because I mean, if you look at him, you're like, yo, this, especially in this world with no superhero, this is how we take care of our family.
Right.
This is how we eat. This is how we keep the lights on. This is how we, you know, secure ourselves, secure our future. You know what I'm saying? So he's only raising Miles in the best way he knows how to raise someone. He's like, hey, this works for me. This is the best way to go, especially in this crazy world where ain't nothing but bad people. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
This is what we
taking
got to do.
something that could have just been a corny thing, a corny comic book thing, where it's like he became the Prowler to avenge his daddy or some dumb, ridiculous thing like that. But he really became the Prowler because of that trauma, but also the idea that how else are we gonna make it, and that is something that oppressed, underserved, ghetto, whatever you want to call it, communities do contend with, right? Like, how I'm gonna make it out of here if I don't play ball? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because
what am I gonna turn to? And
let's be honest, we don't get humanized like that. They'll make Breaking Bad, or they'll make Weeds, or they'll make any of these shows where someone has to turn to a life of crime, and it's okay. It's cool because we can humanize them. We understand they fell on hard times and this, that, and the third. But when it comes to black characters, it's just like, oh, they're just evil, and they're just evil.
Yeah, they're just predisposed
and nobody's going to bring up the years of literal proof and documented fact of financial terrorism on black communities specifically. Exactly. And then be like, yo, they're trying to figure out a way to beat a governmental system with stops and checks for us at education, at finance, at justice, all these places, and just trying to figure out how to beat this system of like rates and no loans and inflation and this, that, and the third. And then my brother died. And you know what I'm saying? Rio can't do it on her own. So, I'm going to have to hustle up a little something to make sure she good, because I ain't going to let my nephew be homeless.
Exactly. And I got it. You know what I'm saying? I done figured out my way through the maze. So, and I'm going to turn him on. If he expressed the interest, you know what I'm saying? And, Miles is kind of that kind of dude. I believe that if he didn't sway superhero, if he didn't sway Spider-Man, he might, especially with that added trauma of his father dying, he might find a way, because he really looked up to Uncle Aaron, to be another Prowler. Like, and this is a circumstance where that happened, and it rings true, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Rather than some corny comic book stuff, and adding the nuance of a young black person to it, I think just enriches it a whole lot. Like, it spoke to me, and I thought that was really great. Like, I was like, man, that's some good writing going on. There's some good nuance and some good cultural stuff and some good, everything sprinkled in there.
There aren't any, at least that I looked up, there aren't any black writers, but they at least they had some consultants. They had to.
I think
they had to have a couple consultants.
I think isn't one of the co-directors is black though, right?
Well, David Ramsey isn't a director on this one, but he is a producer, so he still was involved. So maybe he's the one who dropped some knowledge, like, all right, do it like this, not like that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm wondering if the influence is coming from there, and maybe coming from some of the artists that work on it.
Yeah,
and maybe just carrying
like
forward
or something like that.
Yeah, and maybe just carrying. Well, I don't know about that one, but maybe carrying.
Yeah, dag.
maybe carrying forth some of that stuff, some of that meat that they had in the first one, and just carrying that over too, and really logically thinking about how that would work. But I gotta give them their props, man. Like, that was really good to me. Like, that was, the ending was probably my favorite in the movie. Like, in recent movies. Like, I heard people were mad because some people didn't know. I guess some normies didn't know that it was gonna end on a cliffhanger, and it was gonna have like another part to it. I already knew,
the very first teaser trailer said part 1. Mm-hmm. It said across the Spider-Verse part 1.
Right.
Like,
so I always knew it was gonna end, but even if I didn't, I would have been sad. It was a very satisfying movie.
Yeah, it was. They hit us with one of those anime endings where it was like, no, don't end. Ah, we'll be here next week. It's like they hit me with that Demon Slayer boy where you'd be like, don't end, don't stop. It's the credits. It's like, but it was good. It was, and like, even like Earth 42. When I think about it, thinking about the Prowler, a Miles Morales in that type of world either A becomes the Prowler, or maybe like a Blade Runner-ish kind of Robin Hood, maybe. But I don't see him being the Spider-Man that we all know and love. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I
Because of
mean, there's no
because
way
of the
for him.
specific world he's or universe he's in.
There's like no way for him to become a Spider-Man because there's no spider, right? Like it's
Yeah, it's
gone.
true.
His spider is gone. So not only is there not a Miles on that world, I don't think there's a Peter on that world that got bit by a spider.
True.
Yeah.
And that
So
now,
because Spider 42, matter of fact, that's what the spot said. Spider 42 was supposed to be that Peter's spider.
yeah, you're right. So it who knows where that Peter is, if
Right.
he's even alive. Or
Right.
speaking of alive, when you look into Miles's eyes, and he's like, or the other Miles, when we look into 42 Miles, and he's like, we gotta save our dad. He's like, your dad. Like, dude was man, shoo.
Cause 42 Miles is like is a thug. You know what I'm saying? Like
Man, he was like your dad.
He's fully over the street because he didn't like I said, they done mourned.
Yep.
They done had, they done had the funeral, they done had their tears, and now he's he's a part of the criminal element. I mean, so when we look back at Uncle Aaron, he was dealing with the kingpin. So what is, I mean, why wouldn't Prowler Miles be dealing with the kingpin and other underworld figureheads and having to navigate that world? You got to be hard, you got to be heartless. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's your daddy. That ain't my daddy.
Now I will say, I'm hoping that we open up with some straight flames, because Miles did say, one, I'm strong. He said, I know how strong I am. And then also he said, I beat them all. So, and we got the call back to the punching bag, tied up thing. Like, I think this might be a situation where Miles like, look, I don't want to do this. I'm asking y'all, please go and let me go, because I don't want to do this.
I mean, you saw he had his finger on the chains, man. This is about it's about to go down, man. Look, they don't, and Miles can also disappear. You know what I'm saying? Miles
You're right. I keep forgetting about the disappear. So he has the Venom strike. He has the disappearing, the camo or whatever, on top of the regular spider powers. Like it might be like, yo, look, I'm begging y'all to let me go, because if you don't let me go, I ain't got but 2 days.
Miles about to put the pause on that dude, man. Like, he about to electrocute something. He about to break them chains. They don't know. So probably Miles doesn't have super strength, I imagine. They don't know what a Spider-Man is.
Yeah, you're right. They have no idea.
And so he could probably break those chains, but also maybe he was just kind of hearing them out. Like, his Uncle Aaron is dead on his world, so you saw how he hugged that dude, man. It was like, man, let me.
Yeah, the way he hugged Uncle Aaron even looked like something ain't right. Like, hold up.
If I could get Uncle Aaron on my side, because I'm sure, like the rest of us, he wasn't thinking about himself, like his other self. So he was like, if I get Uncle Aaron on my side and he's the problem, then we could really figure what's going on, right? But then he get knocked out by himself, his other self, and now it's like he's slowly figuring out, after being a little disoriented, like, oh wait, it might be getting real. And Miles' name. Look, Miles just got through beating the whole Spider Citadel. So, I mean,
he like,
it ain't like he ain't ready to put the paws down.
We gonna see. I hope we open up exactly where we left off. Like, not like just like 1 second after we left off. And I'm ready to see Miles come into his own. Like, I'm ready for that. I do want to give a shout out though. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, one of the things that was bittersweet about the entire experience for me, and this has nothing really to do with the movie in and of itself, but just like, I want the people that created these characters for Marvel to like be compensated, man. Like I want them not just in, you know, your name scrolling up on the screen, but it really sticks in my craw as a creator myself to know that these people ain't getting some of the proceeds, like talking about it. You know, that really hurts because I know
what's the story that came out like a couple years ago? Like Marvel sent a dude like a check for like $3,000 or something.
It was like, so Brubaker got, I think, 5,000 or something, or they offered him 5,000, and he ended up trying to. I think he ended up getting with lawyers, and then he did this whole kind of thing where he was talking to blogs and the press about, you know, how it went down. I don't think that situation really ended up resolving because, you know, they ain't trying to give up none of these billions of dollars. But like, I just think it's just sad because I know, you know, Spider-Gwen that's not a that's not like, that wasn't a character that Marvel had. A creative team created that character, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think they get anything off of the movie. And, you know, it must really be emotional. I know if it was me and I signed a contract and I have to sit in there and like, I don't even know if I could watch it. I'd probably be pissed. Ben Reilly,
it would be tough to be like, yo, I'm watching this.
Scarlet Spider's in the movie, and I know for a fact Tom Lyle had a hard time like drawing blood from a stone to get paid every time they use that character. And a lot of the times they'll change the look of the character so they don't have to pay the creators of it anymore, their royalties and all that.
Wow.
All that comic biz stuff. Like, so why that was really bittersweet for me, especially the beginning when we're in Gwen's world, because I know as a creator and as an artist how much of you and your love you put into that, and then somebody comes, you know, and don't get me wrong, all masterfully done, and every artist that worked on it, you know, y'all was beasting. Kudos to y'all who actually got paid to work on the thing. But then there's these dudes, there's people like me, you know, these dudes who create comics and created this work for hire thing as freelancers or whatever, and they don't get a piece of these millions of dollars. That's just hard for me to digest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's something that definitely I think is going to come to, because I mean, we already got the writer's strike again. Right. So maybe it's about time. But see, the only thing is, comic artists aren't really unionized in that way.
It is very taxing.
Because comic book artists and writers are a series of like work for hire, 1099 kind of thing.
I am so taxed because of it. Like, I wish we did have, you know, a WGA or a SAG-AFTRA for comic book artists, man. Like, we really, really need it. Like, man, the pay rates for comic book artists is so ridiculous, and so nobody knows what anybody makes. And I think that's part of the reason why there's no standard, and that is to our detriment. People think that because they get the big Marvel job or the big whoever job, and then everybody's mum about what they're making, because we don't talk about that sort of thing. But my wife is a nurse, and nurses know what other nurses make, and they have a nurses union. And when
you have
the
like
standard
a range. In any other industry, you have a range.
Exactly. And when the standard is not being met, or somebody is being handled incorrectly, nurses strike. Yeah, and you have like a governing body to go to. Yeah. So it's really that part of it really sticks in my craw. And for years I've been like, man, we should figure out a unionized kind of deal going on. We should absolutely figure that out. But I mean, we have not gotten there, and it's to our detriment, I feel like.
Definitely. And honestly, it's not like these, you know, it's not like these movies can't get made with y'all giving proper, you know, I don't know, royalty credit or whatever it ends up being. to the artists and the writers, it's not gonna kill y'all. Hollywood got billions flowing around.
Well, especially with these big tentpole films, like how many billions has Marvel made off of Marvel movies? People create that comes from out of people's minds and hearts. So it's really crazy. It again, like I said, it sticks in my craw. That's the only of an almost perfect experience. That part of it, having those thoughts and those ideas come out of it, is just like, yo, because it was expertly done, man. But I'm like, man, are Robbie and them getting paid? Because they need to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Fabrice was one of the co-creators of Spider-Man Noir, man. Pay that man his money. Like, let's go. So I get real that part of it is like, man, come on. You know?
Yeah, that's something that, look, guys, any comic book artists, creators out there, it's time. It's time for a union. I know there's a lot of salt in the game out there. I know there's a race to the bottom, but it's time. It's time for a union for real. Some kind of standards to be set.
Yeah. Yeah. Working conditions are important, man. And royalties are absolutely important. I know.
Yeah, credit for your work, man.
Yeah, credit for your work, royalties, making money when that thing starts selling again, or when that thing pop up somewhere else and you get a little piece of it. That's love right there, man. We need that to survive. I mean, being secure.
Yeah, because Marvel ain't giving it away.
Well,
they ain't giving those books away. They ain't giving these movies away.
Exactly. And being in a spot where you can live and be sort of, that's one less thing you have to think about if you can get that financial security, and have those royalties or whatever little piece of money's coming in, so that you can feel free to create. That makes more creation, which affords these big companies more money, though, right? Like, imagine that. Like, and we need to move towards that kind of world, I think.
Definitely. I got a shout out I gotta give to the movie. I got a shout out for one character. My shout out goes to the DJ at the party. Here's why. The DJ saw that there was some issues going on with the mom and dad and the son. He said, "Let me go and turn this music up real quick." You know what I'm saying? He helped out. He stepped in. Not all heroes wear capes, y'all. You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Look, they over there fussing and fighting. Let me turn the music up a little bit. Let me try to help out." Even though you did have family interjecting all throughout their argument.
Right. Which also was just like, that's real. Like, that was,
it's real.
That's some of the better parts of the movie. It reminds me of Soul, which I wasn't like super cool with. But there were parts in there were parts in Soul, the barbershop parts in Soul, where he was actually human and in the barbershop, and his mom was in there, moms was in there and everything. That was really good. Like, I love to see that kind of stuff, and that kind of reminds me of the block party on the rooftop party or whatever.
Yeah.
In that part of the movie. And I mean, it's important. We always talk about it's important to see ourselves, but man, it also feels really good when you see that kind of stuff, because that's how we do. And why we can't get a barbecue in and be a superhero. Like, we need to do that too. If there were superheroes in our world and we had secret identities, our human persona would go to the barbecue and then go save somebody from the lizard or whoever. Like, I love that.
Yeah, because you be chilling, eating something, be like, I gotta go real quick.
Yeah.
Gwen said she had to get her steps in.
Right. Or you and your cousin leave, you know what I'm saying? Y'all both superheroes, and they think y'all going toke up, at the family, at the family reunion or the barbecue or whatever, that old adage when you leave with your cousin, your favorite cousin.
Yep.
But maybe y'all go and save the world real quick,
It's not easy out there. So I'm gonna throw it to you real quick. Hit me with some final thoughts, some words of wisdom, and where can they find you?
Well, y'all can find me at 133art.com. That's the hub. We got a couple new books up there. In about, let's say, a week and a half to 2 weeks, One Nation #3 will be busting out of the website. So y'all keep an eye on that. We're giving it out to our Kickstarter supporters first, obviously. Also, you can find me for the next 2 weeks on Kickstarter, Changa and the Jade Obelisk #1 through 3.
Yes,
Come through and grab your third issue of Changa. This is like season 3 of 133R, boy. We got a lot of #3s coming out. Soon Kid Carver's #3 as well.
Yeah, gotta solve those mysteries, man.
Yeah, man.
People stealing bikes in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Gotta track that stuff down.
Listen. So yeah, you can find me those 2 spots, and obviously on social media, you know what I'm saying? Suffering No Fools, either at Jason Reeves Facebook, or if you all about the business, 133 at 133art Publishing, or at 133art on all social media. I don't be on Twitter like talking about it, but if you want to talk to me, Lord, you could try it. IG all day, every day. But yeah, that's where I'm at. But my final thoughts on the movie, man, expertly done. I mean, I don't know if superhero movies get better than this. I honestly don't know. I gotta give it to Sony. They have the crown. They even upped their game on this one. Sony got the crown right now. Your move, Marvel and DC. Your move.
Yeah, because Sony did this. I guess I'll ask you in this final thoughts. Do you think that if the next movie is just as good or better, that this could be the best or one of the best trilogies, live or animated?
I would absolutely say that. I think if the next movie is as good or better, I think it might be the greatest superhero movie of all time. Like, and don't get me wrong, Endgame is like Endgame, and what's the best superhero movie in my opinion? Maybe Endgame or The Dark Knight. One of those. Some of those.
You got like Dark Knight. You have like a collection of a couple good ones.
Yeah, I got like 5 or 6 revolving at the same time. Y'all know I love Man of Steel. So if this third, first of all, this movie is in that Rolodex right now. Like, I enjoyed the hell out of it. But if the third movie is just as good or better, it's giving whatever trilogy a run for its money. And I'm talking Endgame, I'm talking, Dark Knight, whatever. Like, there's only one trilogy that is the extra super goat in my mind, but that's not really. It's more sci-fi than superhero to me. As everybody knows, The Matrix is literally my favorite movie of all time. That's my goat. But Miles is up there. Miles is all the way up.
Yeah, Miles is doing his thing right now. I guess I'll say final thoughts. I cannot believe how good this movie was. I wanted it to be good. I was scared that they might, like, as great as the first one was, I was like, man, I don't know. Maybe they should just leave it alone. And I saw the trailer and I was like, word, cool. So the style is still there. But we didn't really know any of the story beats for real, except that, okay, you got the dimensions, you got Miguel. But now that I've seen it, bruh, once again, just like the first one, I no notes, man. There isn't. It's like, even when I watch Into the Spider-Verse, there isn't like, I'm not like, I can cut out this 10 minutes because that's pointless, or I can cut out this 5 minutes because I don't need that. Like, I'm thoroughly entertained the whole time. And trust me, between me and the little guy, I've seen Into the Spider-Verse at least 20 times.
Right.
Like, sometimes it'll be on because he's watching it and I like it too. Like, it's just pretty to look at.
Right.
Like, it's just a pretty movie to look at. Like, so sometimes I'll just let it run because it's just pretty to look at. So then this movie comes out and the opening, they have like a 10-minute opening sequence with Gwen to the point where you're like, oh, hold up. They haven't even started the movie yet.
Right. Right.
Like,
it was smart to add that extra run time, because that was a nice opening. Like, again, they just over here raising the bar for what can be done in animation and superhero movies in general. Like hopefully there's a lot of people taking notes right now. Right. Like very, very, very good. Like, I rarely am impressed. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you see stuff and you be like, oh, that was good. I like how they did that there. You know, that one little part or whatever. But I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
This movie is about 2.5 hours, and not once was I bored. Not once was I like, when is this going to end? Shoot, when it ended, I was like, hold up, wait.
That's true. There's no drag in this movie. It's the longest. Is it the longest animated superhero movie?
Maybe.
I saw some.
I had to check some runtimes, but maybe.
Yeah, I want to say if they were saying it was before it came out. I don't know if you double check me, everybody, but if it is, there's no drag in this movie whatsoever.
Yeah, and this about to be. This about to be all we got for superhero. Because you can forget it. It don't seem like we're gonna get another Incredible. So it's like this about all we got. And don't be coming in here talking about some Big Hero 6. All right.
Oh man, what's wrong with Big Hero 6? You don't like Big Hero 6?
No, I like it, but it's not on this level.
No, it's not on that level.
Not even close. Like
it's pretty good. Like, I don't think it's bad, but it ain't.
No, I don't think it's bad. But I just like when you look at this, it's like, oh man, I'm not gonna make that comparison. Just Big Hero 6 isn't in this league. It's a different league.
Don't do my Big Hero 6 wrong like that, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like they did their best, man. They did what they could do.
Yeah, they did a little something. You know what I'm saying? The way they did the brother, I'm gonna let that go.
Oh yeah, well, see, and that's my point. Like, look at that. Look at Damon Wayans Jr. and then look at Miles, man. Miles, so young, so young, so gifted, so black. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's able to be an actual just regular human being. He's not. It doesn't seem like he's being, robbed of his, intimacy or anything like that. Right. It looks like, all right, there's a girl he's clearly interested in. Oh, but look, don't sleep. Homie, keeping them options open now.
Right.
Spider Bite came through. He was like, oh, hold up, natural. Hold up, I see the natural. Hold up.
Right. And she was starting to be a real one at one point. Like, she made a decision like, hold up, wait.
Yep. And she was
like,
giving
I like that.
She was giving him a little, energy. I was like, hold up. like, look, Gwen, don't lose your spot. Cause you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Like, she looked like, look, I don't care. Like, it's me. Look, it's me. She was up in there, giving the energy. And it was chilling. There was vibing a little bit. So look, we got a hit on our hands for real. So, with that said, we can talk about this movie on and on. There'll be some new stuff that I'm gonna bring up because I'm pretty sure once it comes out to actually watch at home, even though I've been watching it at home, do not sleep, because It's y'all's fault. Y'all should make it available for me to buy right now, but that's a whole other thing.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
Hey, look, we post streaming era, man. Why are we waiting for movies when people could buy them like today? I mean, come on.
I honestly think if you still want people to go in the theater, you know what? I'll end with this one. I've said this before, but I think if you still want people to go to the theater, what you can do is when people go to a movie with a valid ticket, you can allow them to buy the movie straight out of the theater. Because if so, it's like that emotional buy at the cash register. I come out the movie, I'm pumped. I can buy it and watch it at home right now. Or I can show it to my friend or something like that.
You know how many Blu-rays you would sell if the movie is that good coming out? Like, I have the option to buy the Blu-ray after the movie. Like, imagine you pay for the movie on your phone, you go see it, and then you come out and you get the pop-up like, dude, would you like to buy? Oh, hell yeah. Click, done. Like, and then they just handed them out at the theater.
Bruh. Or at least give us the digital version. If you gotta wait to print up the disc, print up the Blu-rays, I get it, but at least give us the digital joint.
I know. Here's the thing: don't print up no disc. Exactly. Give us a digital version. Let us go home and download the link through the email or whatever. Like, I mean, again, we in the post-streaming AI era, man. That stuff should be readily available. Why are we waiting again?
Yeah, there's no reason
I know who do got the movie after we walk out, the bootleg, man.
Yep. And you best believe I done peeped the bootleg a couple times.
Bootleg man got it. Listen, y'all need
bootleg
to be
man be holding down. You know,
bootleg
man did cough a couple times during the movie, but it's all good.
Right.
Oh man. Anyway, we out, y'all. NERDSoul, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, podcast, all that jazz. Hit the like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. See y'all next time. Until the next I guess the next incursion. Until the next time you need to be saved by Spider-Man or Spider-Woman. This is us saying peace.
Peace.